I traveled through time with the aloof academic genius, but why am I the maid, and he's the young master? Yu Qingyao, can I be your first-class maid? The man whose collar I grabbed turned his head coldly and continued reading, not saying a word. Half a month later, I was noticed by the young master who came to visit the mansion, and he specifically asked to take me as his concubine. In the middle of the night, I tossed and turned, unable to sleep, thinking maybe I should just give in to that young master. But then I saw the aloof man from the day suddenly appear by the window, his face as dark as could be. At first glance, there was still a rope in hand, just a few days after crossing over, and you already want to get married. Hello, everyone. Welcome to my channel. Subscribe us to read wonderful stories every day. Now the story begins. I broke down. Don't be impulsive. The weather in June was already a bit hot, in ancient times. It wasn't like the modern era where you could turn on the air conditioning and eat ice cream. I didn't care about the sweat beading on my forehead, lifting a fan with one hand and tugging at Yu Qingyao's sleeve with the other. I kept trying to win favor. Yu Qingyao, please, I beg you. Let me be your first-class maid. If I could become your first-class maid, I can't imagine how lively and happy a girl I would be. The man I was trying to please turned around silently upon hearing this, sitting upright without glancing sideways, and continued reading his book. But I clearly remember, he had been staring at this page for a long time. I looked at his indifferent expression, puzzled, deadpan guy. You must be thrilled to death inside. Yu Qingyao and I crossed over just yesterday. But why is he a young master from a noble family, while I'm just a maid? Still a beautiful maid attempting to climb into his younger brother's bed. When I woke up lying in bed, my whole body burning with heat, I immediately knew from my extensive reading of novels that I had been drugged with an aphrodisiac. So, dragging my weak body, I relied on the original owner's memories to escape. Dazed and confused, I pushed open a door, only to hear a cold voice say, "Who's there?" I followed the sound and was completely stunned. Why does this face look so much like that big jerk Yu Qingyao? The guards beside him drew their swords, but he remained motionless. Never in my 18 years of life have I experienced anything as thrilling as today, so I tentatively gave him the code phrase, Yu Qingyao from Chuanhua High School. Upon hearing my voice, the man relaxed his guard and walked over. After getting a clear look at me, his pupils contracted sharply, and he responded with the code, Shaluo. Hearing those words, I instantly lost all my strength. Before I fell, I could still hear his anxious voice, Shaluo, wake up. In my sleep, I felt waves of heat and cold running through my body, and I heard someone comforting me, Shaluo, hang in there. So embarrassing. When I woke up, I found myself lying on Yu Qingyao's bed, wearing a fresh change of clothes. Yu Qingyao had fallen asleep by the bedside, the sunlight falling on his face. His features were well-defined, thick eyebrows, a high nose bridge, and a slight curve at the corners of his lips, giving him a more boyish look than I had ever seen before. After a while, he woke up and looked at me. The usually aloof man seemed somewhat flustered at this moment. It took him a long time to speak. The maid changed your clothes last night. I nodded. I know. He was somewhat surprised. You know, what's there to be surprised about? Even if I haven't eaten pork, I've seen pigs run. Waking up feeling refreshed, without the soreness and pain described in novels, Yu Qingyao was still wearing the same clothes from last night. There's no way anything happened between us, but I couldn't say that, so I patted his shoulder. We're good friends. Top student, I trust your character. Yu Qingyao. After the college entrance exam ended, my best friend shared an ancient-style tragic novel with me. To prevent time travel, she suggested I memorize the entire text. Because the villainess in the story shares the same name as me, I never thought I would actually time travel one day. This is a heart-wrenching ancient romance about a playboy young master turning over a new leaf and starting a fierce pursuit to win back his wife. The main characters are the playboy young master and the time-traveling woman. As for me, I'm just the villainess who pushes forward their love story. In the original story, the female lead Zhao Yuanqi was a marriage partner arranged by the family for the male lead. He thought Zhao Yuanqi was just like those proper yet dull noblewomen, but as they spent time together, he was drawn to her intelligence, talent, and liveliness. For her, he dismissed his harem, devoted himself to winning Zhao Yuanqi back. and cherished her for a lifetime. As for me, I was the maid who relied on my beauty to climb into the male lead's bed, repeatedly courted disaster, and was eventually sold off to a brothel. Thinking of this, I couldn't help but shudder. And Yu Qingyao, the older brother of the original male lead, was pitilessly handsome and a first-rate gentleman who enjoyed traveling with his mentor. I only go home a few times a year, spending most of my time away, free and unrestrained. If I could stay by his side, not only would I escape being confined to this large estate, but I could also fulfill my dream of traveling through ancient times. I can hardly imagine how happy that would be. So I kept trying to win him over, tugging at his arm. I don't care, we're classmates, remember, your mom and my mom are best friends. I'm going to follow you for life. Don't even think about shaking me off. From my angle, it seemed like the corner of his mouth lifted into a slight curve. So handsome. My heart is beating a little fast. I'm a bit moved. Damn. I'm getting carried away. Yu Qingyao still wouldn't agree to let me be his first-class maid. I had nothing to do in his courtyard, making clanging noises. I swept up to his feet. Young master, lift your foot. He lifted his foot, sweeping the dust with a feather duster. Young master, raise your hand. He raised his hand, doing whatever was said without a hint of temper. I'm not discouraged and continue to pester. Young master, there are ants on you. Let me help you find them, young master. There's dust on your eyelashes. Young master, are you going to rest now? Yu Qingyao finally shot me an exasperated look. I couldn't help but chuckle to myself. The more he disliked it, the more I wanted to do it. I pushed my luck. Young master, you're blushing, he said with a serious expression. Dill, don't talk like that. After a long pause, he added a reproachful remark. As a maid, you should act like one and know your place. Oh, mister, know your place. You weren't like that night, who stayed by my bedside all night. When it came to this, he argued, I was just taking care of you out of respect for your parents. Our families have been close friends for generations, and his family lives next door to mine. You could say we grew up together, but in reality, the two of us are not close at all. Not close, then we're not close. Mr. Boundaries, I heard he's leaving again next month. That means I only have 1 month to change his mind, so I went all out to pester Yu Qingyao. Actually, I'm just that kind of person. On the surface, I laugh and joke with you, but deep down, I'm even more of a joker than anyone else. I can laugh and joke with you, but if you dare to laugh and joke with me, I'll laugh and joke with you even more. Why is it that when I say so much, all I get from you are a few words? You're so cold. Your coldness is like the glacier of the Arctic, like a bottle of water poured down from the Himalayas, drenching my passionate self at the foot of the mountain, making me shiver all over. Tell me, what is real? Can we really not go back to how we were? Honey, why aren't you talking today? Are you going out later? If not, come to bed with me. I've already made dinner. We can wash up after the child wakes up. Ignoring me, I'll bite your butt. Bite. Yu Qingyao's perpetually expressionless face finally cracked. Shut up. I won't. I just won't. I don't know if my madness has angered him. Yu Qingyao has been leaving early and returning late these past few days. I could only idly gossip with the sisters in the courtyard. The sisters advised me to give up, saying the young master had no interest in women. I retorted, it's not him I'm after. The sister said meaningfully, I understand. What do you even know? I was drawn to his free spirit. Half a month later, the wedding of the male and female leads finally arrived. Yu Qingyao was dragged off early to help out. And I was also pulled to the front courtyard to receive guests, decorated with lanterns and streamers. The groom, dressed in a red robe, looked dashing and handsome, truly fitting for the role of the male lead. No wonder he had a group of female admirers, a gathering of pleasing young gentlemen, some charming and refined, some dashing and heroic, some elegant and graceful. All were handsome young men in their prime. When the bride was escorted back to the bridal chamber, it was the liveliest moment of the celebration. It wouldn't be an exaggeration to describe the scene as a chaotic dance of demons. Only after everyone had dispersed did I drag my exhausted body back. On the way back, I accidentally bumped into someone. Rubbing my forehead, I quickly apologized. I'm really sorry, I didn't see anyone there. The person opposite chuckled softly and said clearly, no harm done. It was my fault for not noticing that someone might pass by here and startling you, miss. The voice on the other end was clear and earnest, without any frivolous remarks, and I couldn't help but feel a sense of goodwill. He added, I am Song Yu, the nephew of Lady Yu. May I ask for the young lady's name? So he was Yu Qingyao's cousin. I waved my hand dismissively. I'm just a servant. After saying this, there was a pause on the other end, and after a long while, they said, then I won't disturb you any further, miss. I shrugged and walked back. But I felt a gaze following me from behind. The next day, I brought tea to Yu Qingyao's study. As soon as I entered, I saw that besides Yu Qingyao and the male lead, there was also a handsome young man sitting inside, dressed in a brocade robe edged with gold thread and wearing a jade pendant at his waist. Hearing the somewhat familiar voice and the way he called Yu Qingyao cousin, I knew this was the gentleman I had seen last night. He was quite good-looking. That young master seemed to recognize me, and he exclaimed in pleasant surprise, Is it you? You're the maid of my elder cousin. I didn't admit it, just smiled at him. Yu Qingyao's warning voice was meaningful. Shaluo, come here. Today, Yu Qingyao was dressed in a dark green cloud-embroidered brocade robe, with features as exquisite as a painting and an aloof demeanor, exuding an aura of detachment that kept strangers at bay. I dawdled my way over to him, just as I was about to pour him tea. Yu Qingyao grabbed my hand. You can leave now. What kind of person is this? On ordinary days, he even expects me to play the role of the elegant companion, but with someone else here today, he doesn't even bother pretending. I put down the tea and was about to leave the study. As I passed by Song Yu, I heard him call out to me again, Is your name Shaluo? I replied to him, This servant is indeed called Shaluo. Yu Qingyao pursed her lips. Shaluo, what kind of person is that? It's not like I was the one who insisted on talking to his cousin. So annoying. The weather was getting hotter, and as I was hiding in the courtyard to cool off, a maid came up to me and said the mistress was looking for me. As soon as I entered the door, I saw Song Yu sitting to the side. I keep thinking about how I've been running into Song Yu every now and then these past few days. An unbelievable thought suddenly emerged. No way, no way. As expected, the lady's attitude was gentle. After having me sit down, she got straight to the point. Originally, I arranged for you to accompany the eldest young master, hoping that before his marriage, he would have someone attentive to his needs, to teach him the ways of the world, so he would cherish the comforts of home and not always think of running off outside. But in recent years, he has been cold and distant, always refusing to take you into his room. You are a young and beautiful girl. How could I let you waste your youth by his side? This is my nephew, handsome and from a prestigious family. He is very fond of you. Although he cannot marry you as his wife, he has assured me that he will treat you well and grant you the status of a noble concubine. If you are willing, I will take it upon myself to arrange your marriage to him today. I'm completely baffled now. After a long while, I heard my own voice say, Thank you, Madam and young master, for your kindness, but this servant does not wish to marry for the time being. The lady took a sip of tea, gently set down the cup, and simply looked down at me. Is that so? I said with determination. Please grant me your permission, madam. After a long while, the lady said with a smile, I will give you one day. Come back tomorrow and tell me your decision. On the way back, I kept thinking about what the lady really meant. Does she want me to marry or not? In the end, I came to the conclusion that she wanted me to marry her. She must have known about my recent interactions with Yu Qingyao. If it were before, she might have been excited that Yu Qingyao was finally willing to get close to women. In the original text, Princess Yijia had been in love with Yu Qingyao for many years and refused to marry anyone else. The Yu family did not want to get involved in factional struggles, but under the pressure from Princess Yijia, no suitable young lady in the capital was willing to marry him. Therefore, out of pity for her son, the madam arranged for me to take care of Yu Qingyao. But he was cold by nature and unwilling to take anyone into his chamber, which is why in the original story, I ended up seducing the second young master. Now, Princess Yijia has finally agreed to marry. Naturally, the madam felt that Yu Qingyao's marriage was settled. She wanted to help her future daughter-in-law get rid of the women around him. I tossed and turned in bed, unable to fall asleep. What on earth should I do now? If I don't marry, once Yu Qingyao gets married, won't I be kicked out? But if I do marry, It'll only be as a concubine. This is the end. The window rustled with a faint sound. I was so frightened that I clutched the blanket tightly. I shouted sharply, "Who's there? Who is it?" In response to the shout, a human-like figure emerged from the darkness. I was trembling with fear, pulling out a dagger from beside my pillow. "Don't come any closer." I rolled off the bed and shouted loudly, "Help, Yu Qingyao." At that moment, a light laugh came from the window. "Shaluo, you've grown quite bold." It was Yu Qingyao's voice. My heart skipped a beat. I felt as if my heart was about to leap out of my chest. It took me a long time to finally blurt out a sentence. "Yu Qingyao, what are you doing here?" The man let out a cold laugh, his smile widening as he walked toward me step by step. "I came here, of course, to find you." The usually aloof man now had a face as dark as thunder. At first glance, there was still a rope in hand, just a few days after crossing over. "And you already want to get married, huh?" I stepped back slowly, cold sweat pouring down, but still forced myself to stay calm. "Yu Qingyao, calm down, let's talk things through slowly." He spoke slowly and deliberately, word by word. "All right, then you explain." I panicked and backed away, but then I suddenly bumped into the corner of the bed and sat down on it. The next moment, a chill swept over me, and I gasped in surprise. By the time I realized what was happening, Yu Qingyao had already closed in on me. He pinned my waist with his legs and held my neck with his hand, making it impossible for me to break free. His smile was gentle, yet it sent chills down one's spine. "Dill, are you thinking of getting married? I let you stay by my side. Why are you always so disobedient?" As he spoke, he untied his hairband, wrapping around my wrist in circles. "But it's okay, I won't let you leave me." I curled up on the bed, trembling. Yu Qingyao's silhouette grew increasingly cold and severe. As if frozen, he grabbed my hand forcefully, goosebumps instantly spreading rapidly up my arm, and I almost let out a sharp cry, "Not I," before I could finish speaking. A pair of warm lips pressed against mine. Yu Qingyao's warm breath brushed against my face. In that instant, a tingling sensation spread from my lips, flowing through my entire body in a flash. I felt as if my heart was about to leap out of my chest, and I swallowed hard. But then I heard a voice beside my ear, "Focus." "Shaluo." My hand pressed against his firm abs, feeling the intense heat beneath my touch. "You really have to admit, this kid's got something." I'm panting heavily. Just as we were about to lose control, like dry wood catching fire, footsteps were heard at the door. Then came the voice of Nanny Yu, "Miss Shaluo." I held my breath, not daring to move. Yu Qingyao also froze completely. He buried his head in the crook of my neck, breathing heavily. I calmed my breathing, cleared my throat lightly to make my voice less hoarse, and then replied, "I was asleep." "What is it, Madam Nanny?" Madam Yu's voice was completely emotionless. "Madam has asked me to deliver something to Miss Shaluo. May I come in now?" However, Yu Qingyao's mischievous side emerged. He bit my lip, and I trembled all over. "Don't," realizing I had been too agitated. "Thank you, Madam. I'm asleep now and can't get up. I'll come to you tomorrow to pick it up." After saying this, Nanny Yu did not leave. "Madam said she wants to give it to you tonight. There's no escaping it." I looked at Yu Qingyao, signaling for him to untie me. But Yu Qingyao leaned in close to me and whispered softly, "Beg me, otherwise, let them see me in your bed." So infuriating. I feel like hitting someone. Nanny Yu at the door, hearing no movement for a long time. "Miss." I was terrified, my heart pounding. Seeing Yu Qingyao leaning down, I hurriedly hugged him. "Please, please, young master, brother." The light in the room was dim, and Yu Qingyao's gaze dimmed along with it. I scrambled off him, grabbing the clothes from the bed and pulling them on. Then I warned Yu Qingyao to hide well, or he'd be dead if anyone found him. Opening the door, I saw not only the nanny but several other people at the doorstep. I steadied myself, pretending to have just woken up, but I noticed the nanny kept peering inside. I understood her intention. Delivering something was just a pretext, while testing me was the real purpose. I turned sideways openly to let her see. Only after confirming that there was indeed no one in the room did she finally relax. From then on, Yu Qingyao seemed to have unblocked all his meridians. He would come to climb into my bed in the middle of the night, sometimes complaining that my bed was too small and uncomfortable for him to sleep on, so he would carry me to his room to sleep together. My resistance was useless. Note: here sleeping simply means covering up with a blanket and just sleeping. This really worried me so much that I ended up eating 2 extra bowls of rice every day, but perhaps I was found out, because just after finishing breakfast that day, I was tightly bound and escorted to the main hall in the front courtyard. The lady's face was cold, her gaze heavy as she stared at me. Kneel. I knew full well that I was at a disadvantage and should not oppose the lady, so I dropped to my knees with a thud. Please, my lady, see clearly, this humble servant is wronged. I don't know what I've done wrong. The lady ignored me and only questioned, where have you been these past few nights, and what have you been doing? I replied in a low voice, Madam, I have been in my room all along and never stepped out. But the lady chuckled lightly. Yet last night, I sent Matron Song to look for you, and you were not there. Where were you then? I was instantly speechless. I can't just tell her that, I'm with your eldest son every night. That would make the lady want to kill me on the spot. I was left speechless by the question, a drop of sweat trickling down my forehead. Seeing this, the lady became even more convinced of her suspicion. Speechless, how on earth did you manage it? Seducing Song Yu is one thing, but even Qing Yao speaks up for you. You really have some impressive tricks up your sleeve. Just like that, a label was slapped on me. I took a deep breath, raised my head, and met the lady's scrutinizing gaze. I swear to heaven, I have absolutely no intentions toward young Master Song. If I shamelessly seduced him, may I be struck by lightning and die a miserable death. And the young master is even more aloof by nature. I would never dare to do such a shameless thing. It was Yu Qingyao who climbed into my bed. The lady sneered, you need to know your place. Don't think that just because you have some favor with the young master, you can flaunt your power in front of me. I bowed low and said, this servant wouldn't dare, but the lady would not listen to my explanation. Guards, drag her away and give her 20 strokes of the rod. No way, 20 lashes and I'd be done for. So we're at the mansion drama now. Wasn't it just a silly sweet story before? I was about to struggle when the voice of the culprit came from behind me. Stop it. I turned around to see the man clad in a moon-white brocade robe, its lapel embroidered with silver-threaded cloud patterns. A white jade Kai-dragon pendant hung at his waist, and as he walked, his wide sleeves billowed like clouds. A rhinoceros horn belt cinched his waist, giving him a frosty, imposing presence. He looked down at me, standing tall and elegant, yet he spoke to the madam with firmness. Shaluo is from my household. It is not for you to decide. Mother, the madam was taken aback. Yu Qingyao, what do you mean by this? Are you defying your mother by protecting this maid? Yu Qingyao's face remained cold. I wouldn't dare. After saying that, he pushed aside the guard who was pressing on my shoulder, bent down, picked me up, and strode into the room with his long legs. I heard the lady gritting her teeth and saying, Yu Qingyao, do you know what you're doing? My heart stirred slightly, and I couldn't help but look up at him, only to have him tighten his grip around my waist. Hold on tight, I won't catch you if you fall. Frightened, I quickly wrapped my arms around his neck, my heavy breaths falling on his neck. My heart raced, as if stroked by an invisible hand, thumping loudly, pushing open the door to the room. I was placed on Yu Qingyao's bed. He didn't speak, opening the familiar box and taking out the ointment, holding my hand, bruised by the guard's grip. He silently applied the medicine. The surrounding silence made me uneasy, and Yu Qingyao's face remained gloomy. I asked anxiously, Yu Qingyao, what's wrong? After a long while, Yu Qingyao finally let go of my hand and held me in his arms. Shaluo, I will definitely take you home. Hearing the word home, my heart ached, and my eyes uncontrollably reddened. I buried my head in Yu Qingyao's chest, my voice choked with emotion. Yu Qingyao, I want to go home. I miss Mom and Dad. He patted me on the back. We'll go home. But how can we go home? Yu Qingyao gently brushed his lips against mine. A warm, familiar sensation washed over me. Let's get married. I was stunned. The sunlight spilled over him, and Yu Qingyao kissed me intently, his face softened and blurred by the light. He continued to ask in a low voice, all right, Dill, I like you. Please like me back. Okay, I'll treat you very well. He spoke with a serious tone, word by word. I'm better looking than Song Yu, richer and more influential. And I have a better physique too, so, will you marry me? My heart is gradually being swayed. I despairingly realize that I have been bewitched by Yu Qingyao's beauty, this damnable infatuation that clouds judgment. But with looks like that, and he still wants to marry me, I really can't refuse. I struggled to turn my head and spoke with the last shred of my rationality. But I'm just a maid, he burst out laughing. So you do know you're a maid? You haven't shown much awareness of that lately. I continued to refuse. The mistress won't agree. Yu Qingyao kissed me. Marry me, and I'll take you to travel all over the ancient world. I'm shocked. How did he know that? This isn't a post I went crazy and posted on my alt account. This guy's been stalking my profile. The pressure of high school studies was too much. So I made a small account to vent and go crazy, saying I want to travel back to ancient times to enjoy a carefree life without studying, and find a bunch of handsome men to accompany me in exploring mountains and rivers, experiencing the beauty of nature. I never expected that the usually aloof and indifferent top student would secretly check my account in private. The thought of it shocked me greatly. You've been peeking at my Weibo account. Yu Qingyao felt that she had let the cat out of the bag and immediately lowered her gaze. After a long while, he said softly, "This isn't peeping, it's a crush," as he spoke. His eyes reddened, looking quite aggrieved. Too bad someone not only sees me as just a regular neighbor but also always treats me as a rival. We were clearly childhood sweethearts who grew up together without any reservations. This is truly shocking, folks. If one day you found out that the person you always considered your rival not only doesn't dislike you but actually has a crush on you, you'd be just as shocked as I am. This is as shocking as the wild rumors about Nurhasai selling his backside to raise military funds or Liu Bei giving birth to a child for Cao Cao. Never mind, since he genuinely likes me, I'll forgive him. So, I couldn't help but hold Yu Qingyao tighter and deepened the kiss. After Yu Qingyao and I confirmed our relationship, I told him that this world is actually a novel. I wonder what he told his wife. Anyway, his wife never came to cause me any trouble. Perhaps it was the differences in me compared to before that made Zhao Yuanqi realize that, like her, I didn't belong to this era. She often came to play with me and would bring me delicious treats whenever she had any. Our relationship has grown much closer. Her relationship with the male lead is just as the novel's plot develops. Without me, the villainess. There are other women to play that role, but there is still a slight difference. She didn't fall in love with the male lead like in the novels, becoming love-struck and willing to die for him. She said she treats the male lead as her boss and the role of a housekeeper as just a job. Instead, she became much happier. I'm happy for her. While the story of a playboy turning over a new leaf is romantic, for the person involved, it might be a source of distress, not something that can be easily explained in just a few words. I lay on the swing chair, and when I woke up, Zhao Yuanqi had already left. Suddenly, a bowl of cool and refreshing mung bean soup was handed over, with a few ice cubes added inside. Yu Qingyao held the bowl, dressed in flowing white clothes, with a gentle smile. "This is the soup you used to love the most. Drink it quickly." During my school days, my mom would bring me lunch at noon. When the weather got hot, she would also pack an extra box of chilled watermelon and a bowl of cooling mung bean soup. Sometimes she would even prepare an extra portion for Yu Qingyao and ask me to bring it to him. I would always wait until he wasn't in the classroom to leave it on his desk with a note. I never expected that he would always remember it was my favorite drink. It seems he wasn't lying. He's had a secret crush on me for a long time. I looked at his handsome face, truly a temptation of beauty. I patted the spot beside me, signaling for him to sit down. He looked a bit puzzled. "What's wrong?" Before he could finish, I unexpectedly pushed him down onto the swing. I turned over and sat on him, gripping his collar, leaning close to his ear. "Yu Qingyao, do you like me that much?" Yu Qingyao's eyes instantly darkened, his Adam's apple bobbed, and his voice was low. "I do." Then he grabbed my ankle, his voice hoarse. "Go in." "Okay, I'm so flustered. Could you please stop saying such ambiguous things all the time? It's hard to judge." Yu Qingyao said he wanted to marry me. And it didn't seem like a joke. I heard him arguing with his wife until their faces were red with anger, and they parted on bad terms. I wanted to tell him, "Stop arguing, whether you marry me or not doesn't matter." But he told me, "Dill, precisely because this is ancient times, I must marry you even more." I understand what he means. In ancient times, it wasn't like the modern era where a boyfriend and girlfriend could just break up. a woman could still openly move on to the next relationship. But here it's different. The relationship between him and me has already been made public. If I can't marry him, my reputation will be ruined, and I'll face condemnation and scorn. Finally, I don't know what conditions he and his wife agreed upon. The wife still couldn't hold out and agreed to let him marry me. I couldn't believe it. The original owner was an orphan with no family. From engagement to marriage, it only took 3 months. In a daze, I married Yu Qingyao. Even after being dressed in the wedding gown and escorted to the bridal chamber, I still couldn't quite grasp the reality of it all. Just like that, I was married, and to Yu Qingyao of all people. After the bustling matchmaker and the crowd of young masters and ladies had left, the room fell into a deep silence, so quiet that I could hear the sound of my own heartbeat. The red veil was lifted, revealing Yu Qingyao clad in crimson robes and crowned with a red brocade jade coronet. A departure from his usual aloof demeanor, now exuding an indescribable, captivating allure. Yu Qingyao's brows twitched slightly as he saw his beloved dressed in a wedding gown reminiscent of the flowing clouds at sunset, with a phoenix-embroidered belt of sheer gauze cinching her waist, perfectly accentuating her delicate and graceful figure. With rosy cheeks and a peach blossom glow, the beauty in his arms felt soft and carried a faint, delicate fragrance. So breathtakingly beautiful it stole his breath away. In an instant, as red sleeves shielded the candle flame in the midnight hour, a subtle and lingering fragrance wafted gently through the room. Yu Qingyao bit my lip. "Do you like me?" I felt a bit shy and hadn't had time to respond to him yet. His lips moved downward and he asked again, "Do you like it when I treat you like this? How about this, and this?" Until the very end, my vision remained blurred, the candlelight flickered. I begged him with a hoarse voice. I called out husband and darling over and over. Only then did he let me go and called for someone to bring water. I didn't even have the strength to open my eyes. Before passing out, I thought to myself, I never knew you had such skills. When I woke up the next day, Yu Qingyao had long been up. I felt the temperature beside me and looked at the bright sun outside. I let out a sharp scream. Oh no, I overslept and forgot I had to pay my respects today. At that moment, the door opened, and Yu Qingyao entered, looking refreshed and energetic. Seeing my resentful gaze, he asked with concern, "What's wrong?" I told him about my worries, and he laughed heartily. I already
in several casualties. The male and female leads were rewarded generously for their meritorious service in protecting the emperor. Over the past 2 years, I have carefully informed Yu Qingyao about the events that will happen in the future. Where exactly did things go wrong? That evening, Yu Qingyao hurriedly came in from outside. His expression was unprecedentedly grave, and grabbing my hand, he pulled me behind him. Then he handed me a dagger. "Something's happened." From his words, I learned that the King of Qi had rebelled ahead of schedule. Over the past few years, the Yu residents had secretly sabotaged the King of Qi's plans, and he had grown suspicious. At that moment, the King of Qi's troops were at the city gates, pointing their swords toward the imperial palace. My hands trembled, yet I held Yu Qingyao's hand tightly. There was no time to move everyone into the underground passage. The gate was breached, the flames illuminating the night sky, the air filled with the sounds of footsteps and fighting. In the darkness, the enemy drew closer. Yu Qingyao suddenly stopped swinging his sword. He pulled me into a side room and asked, "Shaluo, do you want to go home?" I didn't understand why he was asking me this kind of question at this moment, but after thinking for a moment, I still answered, "Yes, to me, I want to go home, back to the home where there are my parents, my classmates, and Yu Qingyao." Yu Qingyao gave a bleak smile. "I will take you home." As soon as he finished speaking, he spat out a large mouthful of blood. The blood in my entire body seemed to freeze. Yu Qingyao. I helplessly cupped his face and noticed an arrow piercing his chest, staining his white clothes crimson with blood. I know what he wants to do, tears streaming down my face as I shake my head repeatedly. "No, if you won't leave, I won't either. Didn't we agree to go back together?" Yu Qingyao reached out to wipe away my tears, smiling. "Silly, what's so good about this place? When you go back, you're not allowed to get a boyfriend. You have to mourn for me for 3 years. I held him tightly. "No, I'm not leaving, Yu Qingyao." His always cool eyes reflected my figure. "Forget about me. Just let it be. Goodbye, my dear." After saying that, he smashed the bead given by the beggar onto the ground. My entire body was enveloped in a white light. Yu Qingyao stood before me, holding a white sword, amid the soaring flames. I saw a group of people charging toward him. When I woke up, I was lying in a hospital bed, an oxygen tube was inserted into my nose, and the beeping sound of an electrocardiogram echoed in my ears. As if I could still hear a familiar voice, "Baby, you're awake." After a blinding flash of white light, I slowly opened my eyes. I saw my mom and dad, and Yu Qingyao's mom and dad. Mom and dad's hair has turned white, and mom's eyes are red and swollen. I'm finally home. I was just about to ask them where Yu Qingyao was. But the moment I turned my head, I saw Yu Qingyao lying next to me. His body was covered with tubes, lying there all alone. Seeing me look over, my mother didn't speak. It was only later, from my mother's words, that I found out. Turns out, I didn't just wake up and find myself in a different world. I was in a car accident on my way home from a class reunion, and Yu Qingyao was also in the car at the time, so the two of us crossed over together. Even after I had recovered, Yu Qingyao still hadn't woken up. Sometimes I would also feel dazed, wondering if I had really crossed over or if it was all just a dream. I reopened that novel and found that its contents had changed as well. Zhao Yuanxi achieved her own career in ancient times. After experiencing the family's upheaval, the male lead became more composed and ruthless, rising to become a renowned and powerful minister. As for the original supporting characters in the book, Shiluo and Yu Qingyao, their descriptions are only brief and fragmented. Shiluo was tragically killed on the night of the incident. While Yu Qingyao traveled the Jiangnan region for the rest of his life and never married again, I held the book and cried until I sobbed, so it was all true. Then I heard a cold yet familiar voice from behind, "Shiluo." I turned around in disbelief. He was wearing a simple casual sportswear, standing tall in the crowd, with the dim streetlight slanting down on him. He slowly walked over and held me tightly in his arms. "I'm back," I cried on his shoulder. "Yu Qingyao. I thought you would never wake up again." "Woo woo woo." Yu Qingyao stroked my hair. "If I didn't wake up, you might have found a new boyfriend." I wiped away my tears and laughed, scratching my head guiltily. He raised an eyebrow and asked, "Shiluo, do you have a boyfriend?" I shrugged innocently. "If I did, would you try to steal me away?" Yu Qingyao smiled and said, "Can I cut in line?" "Girlfriend." I pretended to ponder for a moment with a troubled expression. "No, why? You never even pursued me." "Sure, how did you get back?" "Because I wanted to see you so badly. An old man told me that if I did more good deeds, I could come back."